I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, and this is the Doctor's Guide, Raw and Unfiltered, bringing to you a unique way to begin to navigate your own health journey. And what do I mean by that? Well, with so much information out there, it's really hard to discern what's believable, what's trustworthy, and quite frankly, if it's really going to work for you. So rather than promoting a product or hyper promoting a person, like you'll often see in these podcasts these days, and some of them might be very appropriate for you, but discerning whether it is or not is the key. And so that's the process that we get to share with you today. How do you go through making the intelligent decisions that you need to make to optimize you and your health? And we do that through role playing, because through role playing, you can see yourself in this situation, whether you're the one presenting with the problem or have the problem, or you're that guide guiding somebody else. Now, whether it's you or somebody else that you know, tune in, listen in to the authenticity and the reality of what's happening, because more than likely, you'll see the relatability, as I like to put it, in your life or someone else's life. And that's what's important. So with the role playing, it's going to be short. It's only going to be about 6 minutes, where Melissa will be presenting with a problem and Dr. Cindy Starke is going to guide her to some form of resolution. So oftentimes you get tremendous resolutions, you get some form of resolutions. Clearly, when you get your coach or your guide, you're going to want to spend much more time with them. But the purpose here is to be relatable, to be engaging, entertaining sometimes, but also to give you the hope and the clarity that, yes, you're not alone. And there's a process by which you can get that clarity and hope for you. So I'm going to have my guests introduce themselves briefly. We're going to go into that 6-minute role play, and we're going to keep it tight today. And then we'll unpack it for about 10, 15 minutes so that you get some sort of insight or distinction and action step that you can take right away to begin your journey as well. So welcome, Cindy. Welcome, Melissa. Melissa, introduce yourself briefly, then Cindy briefly as well, and then we'll do the role play.
Hi, I'm Melissa Trinci. I'm a mindset and transformation coach and an entrepreneur.
Cindy.
My name is Dr. Cindy Starke. I'm an internal medicine physician in Gainesville, Georgia, who also has a transformation coaching program helping physicians and other high-powered women prevent burnout in their careers.
Awesome. And if you haven't listened to a previous podcast with these two individuals, they're much more expansive about what they are, what they do, and their magic. Listen in, tune in, because that one was absolutely brilliant. So Melissa, let's start the role play, and you got 6 minutes.
Awesome. So Cindy, my biggest struggle is I am fantastic when it comes to my emotional and spiritual health, but I really struggle with caring for my physical self on a regular basis. I could use some help there. I want to be healthier. I want to move my body more. And I know there's some kind of blockage in that consistency. And I just cannot figure it out. And I'm wondering if you can just help me walk through some of this to kind of get to unlocking that linchpin.
Tell me a little bit more specifically about what you are wanting in your life, what you're missing out on right now and what you want more of.
Yeah, so in my past, I have struggled with holding on to trauma in my body, and that prevented me from using my body to the best that it could be. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia at one point. I no longer have that. And now it's just to build muscle, to be more active, I just cannot make that a priority in my life. I make so many things a priority. To be healthier, my body is meant to move. I have excess fat that needs to be released. And I know all of this. I just cannot get into the mindset of stepping into that space. And I know you really take care of your physical self. And I would love some tips or tricks of how to get over this hurdle.
Yeah. Well, look, if I may, just let me ask you a few more questions. So
Yeah.
tell me what all you have tried in the past, and was there a time when you ever felt like you were where you wanted to be physically, and what was going on at that point?
Well, that would be pre-children. That was a long time ago. So yeah, always been busy, too busy to take care of myself. I went through that quite a bit. I was consistently going to the gym at least twice a week for a period of time. And then, things happen. And now I'm just paying Planet Fitness to be there every month, but not with me. I have a walking treadmill in my office, so I will walk to get myself moving during the day. I dance around my house and do squats. That's the only thing I can get consistently. And that's for that endorphin boost because I want to help my brain. It's not even to help my body. You know? So I guess this is a struggle, has been a struggle my whole life. I was just fortunate to feel like I was in better shape when I was younger versus today. So I don't think I've ever actually taken care of my body now that we're talking. To say that I want to go back and be healthier is actually not true. I want to start being healthy because it was never a thing that I prioritized, which is interesting. I've never thought about that.
Yeah, so when you say that the last time that you felt like you were in a better state of health was before kids, there wasn't anything in particular that you were doing, or you said at that point you were going to the gym twice a week?
No, that would be more recently that I've gone to
Oh.
the gym twice a week. That was not a past pre-children thing. That was more recently me trying to attempt, but the gym is so boring, right? So going somewhere and just lifting weights and walking on a treadmill or doing a stair stepper, like I die mentally. Even if I'm reading a book, listening to a podcast, going with someone else, my brain is like, this is the worst thing ever.
Well, I always tell, I mean, I have so many things that I want to say right now and more questions to ask you too, but in the sake of time, I just want to give you a couple high level things, okay? And then we can take it further as time allows. I've definitely realized in my own health journey and in trying to help other people. I don't know if you know this, but I did help for about 6 years. I helped lead these group fitness programs outside at a military academy here in town. We would meet at 5:30 in the morning. And there were two things about that, Melissa, that made me actually go work out for every single morning, Monday through Friday, for 6 years in a row. It's the longest I've ever worked out, consistently. And I paired something that I love to do with something that wasn't so fun. So I love being outside. So I, like you, have joined so many gyms, and I always stop going because I cannot stand being inside. I can't stand that smell of that Clorox, I don't know about you. But you seem like you're an outdoorsy person. I mean, so I would offer, first of all, really think about an environment that you could thrive in, set yourself up for success. And then the other thing that helped back then at boot camp is that it was a very small group, but it was like 20 people, and we all knew that we were expecting each other there every morning. And it was just 4-week memberships at a time, and it was high level accountability. It was almost like personal training. And so I'm a people person, I'm very social. And so the combination of being outside, being with a bunch of people that were expecting me, and then having an accountability partner to actually coach me, that was my golden ticket. And I've yet to be able to find that on my own. So if any of that resonates with you, do any of those three things that I just said sound like something that would light you up a little bit more than going to a gym by yourself?
Yeah, so things that came to mind is an accountability group. I might be too rebellious for that. I rebel against myself often. However, when you're talking about pairing it with something that I enjoy and getting outdoors, that feels like, oh, I should take my dog. Like she comes to the
Okay.
office with me. We should go for a walk. We should go hiking. There's plenty of hiking trails around here. And it's interesting because I could hear myself, I could see myself in this cycle of, is that good enough? Is that really going to get me to where I want to be? I automatically start questioning it, but that's not really what it's about. It's about getting active and moving my body. So I need to work on that mindset myself of it doesn't have to look a certain way. I don't need to be suffering in the gym with all those smells and being bored in
We got
order
1 minute
to
left. Got 1 minute left
Yeah.
to wrap up.
Yeah.
shape.
So I definitely want to challenge you. There's like 4 big pieces, and we've only really touched on kind of the physical activity portion of it, but you're definitely gonna have more consistency if you do something that you really like. Okay, so walks with your dog, hiking, that's great. And then I'm just gonna just name the other 3, and then I think we'll have to wrap it up and we can talk more offline. But I really want to look at your sleep, and then I really want to look at your stress, And then I want to look at your food and water intake. That's kind of together. But none of these are kind of happen in a vacuum. It's all four together. And I think we can really make some progress the deeper we go offline with all of this.
Awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. My sleep, stress, and food and water are in a good place right now.
Okay,
So
good.
now's the time. So now's the time.
Good, good. Yeah.
Outstanding. Outstanding, both of you. And I'm going to give my monologue after Melissa shares what that was about for her. Just briefly, Cindy, what was that all about for you? Just contextualize it. And then I got some really cool fun facts to share as well. But Melissa, what was that for you?
That was great to talk out loud about this and process it with someone who has this level of expertise, because I didn't even realize some of the mindset and some of the past habits until we were just having this conversation, which is huge to be able to kind of dive into and give me a different perspective as I'm striving for this today, like this year, today. Why not? We're doing it today.
I love that. And I love that awareness that suddenly popped up, which was powerful, by the way. Cindy, what was that for you?
Gosh, that is like a dream conversation to be able to have, again, I find myself getting a little emotional, but I have seen so many people, especially when I was that group fitness instructor, get off of insulin and lose, 20 inches in their body, literally in 4 weeks. There's just so much amazing things that can happen when you find that perfect recipe. And so it was just very exciting for me to see her light up, and I could see her wheels, moving in her head.
I love it. And both outstanding jobs. Thank you for being so vulnerable there, Melissa. A couple of things that really come to mind briefly. The fact that you make it fun, that's awesome. And I think we forget that. We feel like we have to do something. We forget about the fun part. Accountability is huge. So now you just publicly shared with us, Melissa, what you're going to do. And we'll return back to you, by the way. But the one thing that I think that's really important for all of us, and I think where a lot of people go wrong, and also the reason for this podcast, is results. And if you're not getting results quick enough, then it can become a problem. And you get all these different statements. So don't look at the scale, don't look this. No, you got to measure in some form or another. But the thing is that you need to know if it's working or it's not. And there's a big challenge. And sometimes we beat ourselves up when we're not getting results, because maybe we tell ourselves, well, maybe it's my mindset, or maybe it's my motivation, or maybe it's my genes, or maybe it's this, because you're not getting the results. And Cindy very eloquently said, look, you got to stack it up. Sleep is a major contributor. Stress is a major contributor. What you eat, how you eat, when you eat is a major contributor. And here's the truth. All that information out there, except for maybe sleep and exercise, but food certainly is very confusing. And so a lot of people are misled and not doing the right things. And we don't have enough time for me to share a little bit more about food, but there's a Dr. Pampa who's got some great insights on detox and how to really tune into eating much better, and it's not a fad. But the one thing I do want to share with this, because very dear to my heart, because my job is to basically provide people that process by which they can make better decisions. And there's two paradigm shifts. I'm only going to share one of them today, and that's the DNA profiling. But there's only one company that I work with, because they're the only company that really understand how all your genetic pathways work together. And there is absolute intelligence for you, Melissa, and anybody else, for everyone else, by the way, how our genetics are working or not working together. And they will give you very specific actionable steps that you can then take so that you can get the results that you want. Specifically, for example, glucose handling. And it's a matter of timing. It's a matter of certain very specific supplements. There's a whole ton of supplements for sugar handling that just will not work for you, but some that will, and they can discern that. So for people who want more information, just go to my website or just, look at the links below. I want to give it to both of you. We've got about 10 minutes that we can wrap this up. What else would you like to share, Cindy, Melissa, in regards to all this? Melissa, you're also a coach, so I know that this is an important part of you. I hand over the mic, and we have 10 minutes for that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm just kind of blown away thinking through all this right now, to be honest. I was just thinking that I've given myself all these excuses about how the body does keep score, and how if I start shedding the weights that I'm going to have, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be a struggle. Literally, this conversation is just opening my eyes up in a way that I didn't even realize it was going to. And it was a dream conversation for you. I made the decision right while you were talking, Dr. Bart. Like, like this is something I'm struggling with, and I want to be held accountable. There's power in sharing, there's power in transparency, there's power in vulnerability. And I just want to encourage everyone who's listening to share. And if you share with someone and you're not receiving grace and compassion and love in response, then find someone else who will provide that for you. Keep looking, don't give up, because you deserve that for yourself. And Cindy, thank you so much. And I want to continue this conversation. And Dr. Bart, the accountability is here with the whole world. That's amazing.
On national TV.
No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. I wanted to say something, and this might sound odd, but I see a complete correlation. So I hope you guys will too. But so I recently, you know, had a big change in my life. You know, I retired, and I left a really long-term relationship that wasn't serving me, and I came over into a house on my own, and it's a much smaller house, and I had to clean out my closets. And the same thing you were just saying, and losing the weight that was holding on to a lot of trauma, that you feel like that's going to be so emotional when you're letting it go. Let me just tell you, it is emotional, and it's also so freeing, because like that stuff doesn't serve you, just like all those clothes didn't serve me either. And I got I got a when I moved out, I got an organizer. He has a name, but to help me clean out everything. And we had 7 25-gallon bags of clothes and items in my closet that I donated to a women's shelter. And it's just like I blessed all that stuff, and I'm like, thank you for, you know, help, you know, being here with me over those 22 years. I no longer need you, and I release you to go and serve someone else. And that's kind of like what we'll do as we're getting rid of this excess weight that's no longer serving you, because what you're going to be left with once it's just you and your rocking body, and you're able to, you know, hike and swim and do whatever else you want to do with your dogs and your kids, is going to be all the stuff that serves you again. Just like, I just want you to know, it's going to be emotional, just like it is when you clean out a closet, but it's really good emotions. And you just thank it for being there. I mean, literally, I sit in the mirror sometimes, and when I've put on a few pounds, when things have been really stressful in my life, and I tell my body fat that I love it and thank you for protecting me, and it's time to let you go now. And you just do it all in love, and it literally helps your body release it. So I have a lot of things I can teach you. I'm really excited.
Wow, that's powerful. What a beautiful metaphor. Anything else you want to share, Cindy and Melissa? We have about 4 minutes left.
I just want to circle back to what you said, Cindy. This applies to so many things in our life. They're here to serve us. The subconscious beliefs that are no longer serving us today, they kept us safe at some point. You know, we saw this as keeping ourselves safe in one way, shape, or another at some point in our lives, and to honor that, and to know that our minds and our bodies are doing what they're designed to do. We're not broken. There's nothing wrong with us. We're just different stages. And to continue to grow and be willing to release things when it's time is so powerful. This whole conversation is so powerful. How many times have I said powerful? Thank you for this, guys. This is exciting.
And any final nugget that you want to share, Cindy, about any of those three that we didn't talk about, whether it's sleep, whether it's stress, or whether it's nutrition?
Well, I did just want to talk about water. I want people to be really aware of how high quality their water is that they drink. And Melissa's actually taught me a lot of stuff about water here lately, but I drink only spring water, and I just want people to really be mindful of any additives that are in their water, especially if they're I live in a city that's right near a lake and near an enormous hospital system, and I just I have to get my water sourced from elsewhere, because there's just a lot of stuff in our water these days that is not helping us in our overall health too.
Yeah, water is so important. Thank you for sharing that. That's actually pretty much free, by the way, so, or very inexpensive. I certainly would try to stay away from any bottled water in plastic, tons of, additives in that. But here's the truth. I mean, filtered water is really important. There's so many contaminants. Berkey water, Berkey filters are super easy to use, super affordable. And I use one. I got a 5-6 gallon one or something like that, and it does wonders. The only thing you have to make sure is that you keep up with your minerals. So for sure. But I want to thank you both for this. I think it's very relevant, and I think what you were saying, Melissa, too. And we talked about this prior to the show. And have grace, right? Give yourself permission to be human. I mean, you have faults and you have weaknesses. They're not your fault, but it is your fault if you do nothing about them. And there's no longer an excuse to be sick in this world. There's no longer to not have the kind of lifestyle and outcomes that you want. I mean, you're not going to be someone like maybe Elon Musk, whether you like him or not. But you've got your standards, and whatever that dream for you is, you should be able to get that, especially when you connect with people like Melissa and Cindy that help you navigate through that process. And it's all available for you. And as Melissa so adroitly said, you deserve it. Just because you've got some programming from somebody else, or you got family members that don't want you to succeed, I mean, I get it. I mean, it's scary for, a family member to lose a family member because they're moving up in life. And we all deserve to move up in life. And that's also the purpose of my podcast, is really to give people the idea, all types of people from all parts of the world, because it's all available to you. And you just have to have that insight, that new awareness. It really comes down to what you don't know that makes all the difference. And I'm an absolute testament to that as well. I knew nothing about human potential except for what medicine taught me. And then my whole world opened up, and it's allowed me to become a person of great service to others. I'm not going to help everybody, unfortunately, but, and it's the same thing for you, Melissa. You have so much to offer, and getting rid of, that extra weight, getting rid of the stuff that's holding you back, whatever that is for you. I mean, weight, emotional weight, spiritual weight, energetic weight, it's still weight. And then having that freedom is so beautiful. And just by the way, just so you know, Melissa, you're the only one I'm talking to, by the way, right?
Yeah.
I have the same. I got tons of weight that I got to get rid of. And it's spiritual, energetic, emotional, and also physical. So here, full transparency right there. And so I'll keep on par with you in losing the weight, Melissa. And all right, final words, Melissa, from you. How do people get a hold of you? And then we'll go with Cindy.
Absolutely. You can find me melissatrinci.com, at Melissa Trinci on most social media, and I would love to connect.
Love it.
Yes,
Cindy?
and yeah, I can be found at DrCindyStarke.com, and then Cindy Starke on most social medias. Thank you.
And my name is Dr. Bart Rademaker, and this is the Doctor's Guide podcast, Raw and Unfiltered. I have another radio show called Prescription for Your Information, not information for your transformation. I'm trying to speed up and then messing it up and then prolonging things. But here's the truth. Our conversations were raw and unfiltered. They were real. And this is exactly what I want people to recognize, because you guys are very influential people. You're very accomplished people. You're very smart people. And you have these issues like everybody else does. And so it gives everyone permission to have this, and gives everyone permission to go out and seek somebody to do something about it, because you deserve it. Just like Melissa said, you deserve it. And find a person with heart, find a person with integrity. They are out there. And when they absolutely listen to you, and what I found awesome with both of you in both of our shows is your ability to ask questions and to listen to what they're saying, because that's one of the most important things. So once again, I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, and this is the Doctor's Guide, Raw and Unfiltered, and we will be back.